I'm an Eller with a Steve-O Spratling. We're a podcast. We're a dead and lovely.
That was it? Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Man.
I warned you I had a sick intro up my sleeve.
Welcome to Dead and Lovely, award-worthy podcast.
Bon Jovi-worthy podcast.
Yeah, you just heard that intro. You know what you're getting into. These are the motherfucking tag team champs of podcasting.
Oh.
I recently lost the Intercontinental Championship and a screw job, but we
Listen,
still got them tag team belts.
We're just them underdog favorites is all that we are, Steve.
And let me tell you something right now. And you know what, Ben? I'm sorry to have to start the podcast like this, but I'm going to take down Ric Flair real quick.
Cut him up.
Ric Flair, listen to me, Ric Flair. When I become the podcasting heavyweight champ of the world, I will be a one-time champ, not 15 times. You got to lose it 14 to become the 15-time champ.
Oh, he's talking
you
shit.
Loser. Bring it, Ric Flair.
He is coming down on Flair, something
You
harsh.
can't see it, but I am holding 4 fingers on both of my hands down.
He might call himself a 15-time winner, but to us, he's a 14-time motherfucking loser.
Yeah, dude. It's like, hold on to it for once.
Yeah, just damn. Well, to you wonderful listeners, you are listening to Dead and Lovely, your absolute
wrestling
favorite
podcast.
Yeah, your favorite wrestling podcast. Here with your horror host, Uncle Ben Eller. And who's that wonderful person I got there on the other end of that Skype line today, Steve?
Well, that's me, Hollywood Steve Spratling, out here in beautiful Koreatown, Hollywood.
Oh, man, you're out there just chilling out in them Hollywood hills. How's it been out there lately, Steve?
Oh, man. The hills of Koreatown, it's like, gosh, they're just rolling.
Are they really?
No. I guess it's a little uneven in Koreatown. We have a few inclines, but it's pretty flat.
Do they see you rolling hills?
What? No. They do. I'll tell you, I've had a pretty good week. The wife and I have just been chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. We're super excited for last week's Game of Thrones premiere.
Ooh.
Please say nothing about the episode that came on tonight, because my wife had to work tonight, so I wait until she gets home to watch it.
I done watched it, Steve.
I believe it's I'm guaranteeing it's great.
It came in hot.
I love this show. It's so good.
I very
Game of
much
Thrones.
enjoyed last week's as we record this. Last week was the debut episode of this new season of Game of Thrones, 2017 season, and it was badass. I'm not gonna spoil anything. This isn't really a Game of Thrones podcast, but it was really cool, and I'm happy to see too. You know, I don't know. I'll put it to you this way: I'm sad knowing that there is this season and one more season left. I'm sad about that.
Yeah, that is sad.
But at the same time, I'm happy knowing that since there is an end in sight, that means that they are driving it towards something. Because honestly, as wonderful as the show is, I do feel like, I mean, for a lot of seasons 3, 4, and 5, there was a lot of feet dragging going on. Just kind of like, I feel like sort of waiting on Martin to finish a book so they'd know where they could take it. But I feel like around the 2016 season, they were like, okay, it's going to be a while before we get any kind of conclusion book-wise. Let's just take the reins, drive this thing somewhere.
Now, this is neither a wrestling nor a Game of Thrones podcast, but if it were, I would point out that on rewatching the last season of Game of Thrones, I saw in some of the last few episodes some parallels to... it seemed to me as though David Benioff and D.B. Weiss were killing off George R.R. Martin in a couple of characters. Like, he seemed to be represented by I won't say anything. I won't ruin it for anybody, but I think a few characters definitely did represent George R.R. Martin in a way. And when they were killed off, it was like this, we're free, like we can do whatever we want now. And I think they did really good with that premiere,
And it's like, well, we've mentioned it on the podcast before, talking about other movies that were based on books, even our Harry Potter episode that we did, where it's like,
yeah,
I've kind of reached this point now where I can be okay with something being based on a book and taking it somewhere other than what the book did. If you want the book, read the fucking book.
Yeah, it's available. Go read it. And it's, in a lot of cases, like Harry Potter, great. The Walking Dead, you're going to love the comic. But, I think The Walking Dead actually was the one that really transitioned me into being like, you know what, I don't care that this isn't exactly the comic book. Because the comic, because like when you're talking about, say, like Harry Potter, like you have to envision all the things in your mind. But with a comic book, you're seeing almost a cinematic take on the story already. So in seeing it turned into a TV show, you don't want to see just exactly that. You've already seen that. You want to see them do something a little different.
It's kind of like how The Matrix was based on the Bible, but it was a little different.
Yeah, because right. Yeah, because in the Bible, Morpheus he doesn't survive the end. Yeah,
it's true. And Jesus favored karate chops instead of high kicks.
Oh man, Jesus loved karate chop. He didn't care about ninja chops or Judy chops, but karate chops.
Ninja chops and Judy chops. Well, another one too we've been watching this week that again is based on a book, but is quite different. In terms of where the story and the characters go and stuff. We just finished watching that first season of American Gods on Starz.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about this last week, and I actually haven't even gotten back into it.
Well, we finished
was it great?
Yeah, we finished that first season, and it was fucking cool. Like, I really loved Neil Gaiman's book. My wife, really loved Neil Gaiman's book. She was, all fucking about it. I thought it was cool. And she's usually quite a bit more of a stickler than me about something straying from a book, But we watched this, and it is quite a lot different from the book, but it makes sense in a lot of ways. It's stuff that the characters in the book could have done, kind of like Handmaid's Tale, and how it was, it strayed from the book in a lot of ways, but it was still logical. It still made sense in that universe and so on. American Gods is kind of like that. I think the only thing that I didn't like as much is the I don't want to spoil anything because you haven't watched it yet. But there's a few characters that had more of an emphasis that didn't have a really big part in the book. That was kind of like, But the casting and, just visually, dude, it is visually unbelievable. It is one of the most gorgeous, just visually captivating TV shows I think that I've ever fucking seen.
Now, Ben, just to go back to Game of Thrones for a second.
Yeah.
Do you think... at any point, they're going to see a polar bear and then find out that they were dead all along?
I mean, okay. It depends. Does the polar bear come before or after the smoke monster?
I think it comes before, and it almost kills a hobbit.
I think more shocking would be if they saw an Asian guy on Game of Thrones.
Oh, man. And he only spoke Japanese?
Yeah.
Yeah. And his wife was pretending to only speak Japanese, but she spoke English. Guys, these are Lost references in case you're wondering, why are they talking about a dissatisfying ending to a show?
Oh,
Lost,
man.
That's why.
Supremely dissatisfying ending, man. That show...
Speaking of dragging your feet, that show drug its feet constantly.
Oh my god. Well, because it absolutely did not know where it was going. It was just making bullshit up as it went. And
which is fine. You can do that and it can be good. You just have to be confident in it and not be like, well, we want the season to end this way, so we got to make sure not to get there too quick.
That show really did, for those first couple of seasons, just have me, squarely by the short and curlies, just with a firm grip.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier shows that really focused on creating a strong cast of characters. Though I wouldn't say that Lost has a strong cast of characters, but they have a cast of characters.
Of all the cast of characters I've ever seen, they are one of them.
Yeah, that is if someone were to say that's not a cast of characters, I would say, if you look up the definition of cast of characters, they fit it. for sure.
Yeah, it's multiple people.
And they're not playing themselves.
It's true.
These are
Characters.
actors pretending to be people. Characters, one would say.
I really wanted to believe in that shit, and then it's just like the more it kept going, I was just like, yeah,
I actually really loved all the Dharma Initiative stuff. I liked the weird elements that started creeping in, but I wish they had creeped it in early. Like it should have been. It should have gotten quicker to the weirdness instead of giving me so many long hours of watching that lady who plays an elf in one of the Hobbit movies and the country singer looking guy and what's his name from Party of Five.
Yeah, I wanted to believe, but it really, really did just kind of let me down, man. Kind of let me down, but.
Oh man, when I say what's her name who played an elf in The Hobbit, I should say she will be playing Wasp, who unfortunately is not the original Wasp, who is one of a character who is very dear to my heart, but she'll be playing Wasp, and I love Wasp, so.
You don't say.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, you've seen Ant-Man, right? She plays, well, at the end, he basically, what's his name?
Paul Rudd.
Michael Douglas. He basically is like, here, I got you a suit or whatever. Nah, I don't remember.
I forgot about that. It's been a while since I watched that one.
Yeah, so the next Ant-Man is Ant-Man and Wasp.
Speaking of a Marvel movie, did you see the new Thor Ragnarok trailer?
Yes, I did, and I'm fucking excited.
Did it get you hard?
Yeah, 100%, because first off, it's got kissy face Mark Ruffalo.
No.
And it's got big old Chris Hemsworth, being both handsome and funny.
Oh yes.
Like a son of a bitch. And yeah, it's Planet Hulk, and gosh, Kate Blanchett looks great as Hela. I'm so excited. Taika Waititi is amazing.
I like the whole 80s vibe that they're playing up to. Like even the logo that says Ragnarok looks like the fucking Bigfoot 80s monster truck logo or something.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm totally okay with that. The Thor movies I think have been fun because they totally make no qualms about how silly it is to have a Norse god among men and stuff. It's like it's not played super serious, and I like that about it.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the Thor movies also have Idris Elba and Tom Hiddleston just kicking ass as Loki. I would say Dark World is not the best Marvel movie, but it advances the story of Thor in a great way. I think people need to stop thinking of Marvel movies in the way you think of movies and start thinking of them the way you think of story arcs in comic books.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Every story arc isn't some amazing perfect 3-act movie type of story arc, but they advance characters in ways that when you're talking about dealing with an entire universe of movies, you can have a movie that is more about advancing character than about advancing plot.
That's a really good point, because even in a great classic story arc, it's not like every comic book in the series is just fucking dynamite.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I love the Thor movies. Chris Hemsworth's amazing. He's so good. I really liked him in the Ghostbusters remake. He's great. He's really charming, fun, and Mark Ruffalo is awesome.
Shit, yeah, he is.
He's really great for Bruce Banner. Just that, you can see the anxiety right below the surface on him. You can see how stressed and angry he can be in seconds. But he also is able to play that cool exterior and intelligence that Bruce Banner has.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think that most all of the casting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been really fucking awesome. I can't really honestly think immediately of a lot that I could complain about, honestly.
Yeah, I mean they've had some changes. Terrence Howard, for instance, changed to Don Cheadle.
Right. Which is fine by me. I like Don Cheadle a lot better.
I love Don Cheadle, yeah. Terrence Howard was great. They had some problems with him. They moved on to Don Cheadle. Yeah. I mean, like, Marvel's not gonna fuck around with you if you're gonna be too hard on the set. So, yeah. The casting though is interesting because it's been the same casting director, I believe, the entire time since Iron Man.
Really? That guy must be a fucking nerd.
Well, that lady is a fucking nerd.
Damn.
Yes, Sarah Halley Finn. She's been the casting director since Iron Man. So when people think about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how it all comes together and how it works together, like, she's made it. Like, she is really keeping shit going and keeping it together.
No kidding, man. No kidding. And really, I was talking about this the other day with a friend, but it's like, really, as far as the last decade or so, I mean, really, you can trace it back to when the first Iron Man came out, but really, for the past decade or so, every summer blockbuster, in some cases more than one summer blockbuster, it has been a superhero movie for the past decade. And it's like, I really feel like, out of principle, I should just be complaining about that and being like, my God, can we not move on and do something else other than a fucking comic book movie? But dude, I'm not getting tired of it. I'm totally not getting tired of it.
I think we've talked about this maybe in a past episode where the Marvel movies do a great thing of, instead of each movie being a comic book movie, which really wasn't well defined before Iron Man, instead of them being just a comic book movie, each movie it tries to fit into a specific genre. Yeah. So like you get like spy thrillers like Winter Soldier, which is amazing. I love the way they do that. You get
Ant-Man is kind of a heist movie of sorts.
Yeah, Ant-Man's a heist movie. So like, instead of just trying to make comic book movies, where I guess the comic book movie trope before that was Superman, where every comic book movie is about how amazing this character is, the end.
Yeah.
Like,
saves the day kind of thing.
Yeah. And that is also what was great about Iron Man, is that he's not, he is an amazing character, but it's not like he is above reproach. It's not like he doesn't do stupid shit.
Right.
Like, he does dumb shit. And he gets dumb lucky, and we're happy to see him get dumb lucky, and we applaud. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, really, there's still that part of me that is just the 10 or 11-year-old Uncle Ben in here that, if you would have gone back to when I was a kid and told me that one day there would be an R-rated Deadpool movie that would make millions and millions and millions of dollars and become the highest grossing R-rated movie ever, I would not have believed you even for a heartbeat. So
no,
I mean, dude, if you'd have told me there was going to be a Doctor Strange movie, like,
yes, seriously,
I mean, that is such, like, not even a B-list character, that's a C-list character.
Yeah.
And he was played by, one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, and that movie made bank, and it was widely accepted and loved, and it's badass. I would not have believed you, as a kid. I would have been like, no way, this is just like nerd stuff that only I'm into.
One day I'm going to blow Little Ben's mind and use our Dead and Lovely proprietary time machine, go back in time and tell you about all of these things, and then come back. And then we'll record an episode and see what you think.
I'll be like, no way. I just can't believe you. I can't talk to you. I'm not related to you. Bye.
I'll pretend I'm a substitute teacher for homeschool.
Oh, okay. Uncle Steve.
It's me, Uncle Steve.
And then I'll think back and be like, I had a great uncle named Steve. So for my online persona, I will become Uncle Ben.
Yeah. And then you'll make that wild rice you're so famous for.
Oh, I am known for that. It's true.
So Ben, we just talked a good bit about some Marvel movies. I just real quick have to say, and I don't know that we've ever talked about this, but this was the biggest thing to come out of Comic-Con for me. And that is that Young Justice is getting a season 3. Yeah.
I don't know. Young
hold on,
Justice.
everybody's applauding. Hold on.
I don't know what that is.
Young Justice is a show you need to watch. I believe it's on Netflix. I'm not sure it still is, but it is. It's I guess it would be a teen show that it's kind of like they're the Teen Titans, but they're basically the Justice League B team, and they're all like young, like, you know, we have Robin and Aqualad and Kid Flash and a lot of these characters.
All right.
And they're thrown into very adult stories and situations, and they deal with them while also dealing with the fact that they're teenagers and they're inexperienced, etc. And the storytelling is fucking amazing.
Really?
Yeah, and when season 2 ended, I wrote 3 spec scripts for just Young Justice season 3, and I think it's been 5 years since season 2 ended, and they're doing a season 3, and it's got I think they're doing 24 episodes. I'm so excited, so awesome.
God
Check
damn.
it out sometime.
So is it kind of like Generation X, but for the DC universe?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, that's pretty much on point. Yeah, and the show will remind you somewhat maybe of the Justice League cartoon, and also I feel like it has a lot of good elements of Batman the Animated Series, like a lot of that. Not the art direction and stuff, but the serious themes and stuff, and like the way that the show is. Like, it's very serious, despite the fact that it's also jokey at times and, like, you know, teenagery.
That sounds like something that I might enjoy. I might even be crazy about it. I might even be a maniac for it.
He's a maniac on the floor.
Which brings us to the topic of today's podcast, which is Maniac from 1980, one of the most warped and fucked up movies I have ever fucking seen.
You know, Ben, just to prepare for this episode, I've been doing bath salts and listening to Halloween scream tapes over and over, just to try to get into the mind of this maniac.
Hollywood Steve has gone off the rails.
Or on the rails, you know what I'm talking about?
Doing rails.
Nah.
Steve, was this the first time that you watched this movie?
Yes. And oh my God.
I watched this for the first time probably about 8 or so months ago, I think.
Oh God.
And
so your life changed.
Dude, it really did kind of like spin my head around, I'll tell you that. I watched it because Say You Love Satan, my favorite horror movie podcast.
Oh man!
Did an episode about it, and I was like, well, I should watch this movie so I can dig the episode. So I watched the movie and I was blown away. I watched it on a YouTube rip. There's a couple of different YouTube rips of this that you can find, and I'll tell you, like the first one that'll come up is like an hour and 20. It's edited. It doesn't have a lot of the good stuff.
Yeah, don't watch that. You want to see the goods.
Yeah, there's another one that's up there as of this podcast. It's like an hour 50 long. And it's still only an hour and 20 or so long, but there's like some repeated stuff of the first of the movie at the end of it. That one is uncut and has all the great gore scenes and stuff. So that's the one that you want to watch if you're watching it on YouTube. Although really, this is one of those ones you should just go ahead and buy and add to the permanent collection.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is one that you'll want to expose your friends to in the future. With probably a like heavy dose of, guys, I think this is fucked up, before you show it to them. Don't just whip this out.
No.
Like one time my friend Charles, I guess he thought it was a funny gag, was like, do you want to watch a movie? And I said, yeah, and he turned on gay porn. Now listen, I got nothing wrong with people having sex with people of their same sex. I'm fine with that. That's great. You know what? I don't even have a problem with someone just tossing some gay porn on. But don't tell me we're about to watch a film and then turn on porn. I wouldn't have cared if it was straight porn. It still would have been weird. I hope you're listening, Charles.
Fuck you, Charles. You know, this is really one of those movies where you will want to allot enough time after watching it to... I would suggest take a shower and watch a Disney movie.
Yeah, like right after this, maybe watch, I don't know, like, the Lizzie McGuire movie or something.
That wouldn't be a bad choice, man. If there's a way to watch a Disney movie in the shower.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, if we're in the shower right after watching and you're watching a Disney movie, I would go probably with, I'm going to say Pocahontas?
Oh. I'm an Emperor's New Groove man myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Emperor's New Groove is amazing and all, but Pocahontas will make you sing in your head for a couple of weeks. Savages, savages, barely even human.
Oh, God.
That movie's terrible. It's a bad Disney movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time that I watched this, it was so far beyond the realms of just grime and disgusting violence and just depravity. I think of about anything that I've seen, and I still think that it is easily in the top 3 most fucked up movies that I've ever seen. It is a warped, strange movie.
Yeah, it hasn't been sitting on me for very long, but even in that short period of time, I've just been like, yeah, there's not much more fucked up than that. Maniac is fucked up.
The main subject of this movie is a serial killer with some really, really, really severe mommy issues that tend to be driving his actions and motivations, which is something that is kind of common to see in other horror flicks. We've seen this very many times in the entire history of horror movies. A killer having mommy issues, and that's what drives him to the realms of insanity. So, Steve, I would like to take a minute before we start getting into this movie to play a little game of the match game for you here and try to set you up with some of my favorite horror movie bachelors and see who you choose.
Oh, man. Is this the dating game, but with serial killers?
It just might be.
All right. Chuck Woolery. Be back in 2 and 2.
Well, buckle up here, buckaroos. We've got bachelor number 1 here.
All right. Let's hear this hottie.
He's an athletic physiqued young man who has a hair lip, but that doesn't let him stop. That doesn't make him stop partying.
Okay.
He's got a thing for photography.
All right.
He's got a thing for classic art, including a huge penchant for William Blake.
Oh, now is this the guy from Red Dragon and etc.? What's his name?
You may be looking for a Francis Dollarhide.
That's him.
That is correct.
Yeah, he loves some William Blake.
The Tooth Fairy from Red Dragon. I really enjoy Red Dragon. You could also say that he's from, what was the first one that they did?
Manhunter.
Manhunter, thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a really long time since I watched that, but I really like Red Dragon a lot.
I haven't seen that probably 20 years.
Yeah, he's one of those cats who was severely abused by mom in his younger days, and kind of led him down sort of a strange path in life, Steve.
So, okay. All right. I'm still considering him, though, because he was played by attractive character actors. Tom Noonan, good-looking dude. Very tall. Too tall for me. I like a tall woman, but a tall man,
not as much.
Well, I'm not into men, so it's probably... That's probably the first issue.
Yeah, that might be something to do. Well, let me go ahead and introduce
you. And then Ray Fiennes played him, so, I mean, that's Voldemort.
He's Voldemort. He's a powerful man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this is the guy for you. Let me introduce you here to Bachelor number 2. Is that all right?
All right, yeah, let's hear more about him.
Now, this guy, he really loves to stay at home with his mom after an evening of working at the incinerator.
Okay.
He enjoys going out and disco dancing up a storm.
Okay.
Also, a little bit of a firebug. I bet he wouldn't mind lighting up a few candles to set the mood, or setting you on fire with a flamethrower.
Now, is this the guy from Don't Go in the House?
That would be one Donnie Kohler from Don't Go in the House.
Donnie Kohler from Don't. That dude is fucked up.
That movie is fucking out of control crazy. That's one of those ones I'll tell you guys too. It's like, it reminds me of Maniac in a lot of ways, in that it just feels like you gave some fucking lunatic a camera and told him to go make a movie. It is a strange movie.
And there's a very similar scene where the victims come, or he hallucinates the victims coming back to life and attacking him. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very true.
They both came out in 80 though, so it's weird that they would have, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the people who made Maniac, because Maniac came out in December of 80 and Don't Go in the House came out earlier. Maybe they saw it, but I imagine it was just parallel thinking.
Yeah, a little bit of a morphic resonance. Everybody was having the same thought. And, made the same movie at that point. Kind of like Dante's Peak and Volcano.
Yeah. Yep. Classic example.
Well, that guy, he might come in a little too hot for you, Steve. Let's move on to Bachelor number 3, okay?
Might come in too hot. Ben, you punster.
Look at me. Now, Bachelor number 3 here, you know what? This guy, he gets a little freaky. He gets a little bit freaky. I'll tell you this.
Freaky deaky?
He's really into cross-dressing.
Okay.
He's been known to dress in drag a time or two. Very close to his mother. He wants you to meet her. Also really into shower sports and water play.
Oh, water play. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a little.
He likes it wet and wild.
That's a little outside of my element, but are we talking about Norman Bates?
That might be a Norman Bates from Alfred Hitchcock's classic Psycho, one of the OG horrific horror movies. Still a really weird fucking movie.
Yeah, no, that movie hasn't dropped off. I don't think it's still equally creepy.
Yeah. That guy might be a little bit too weird for you, so let me go ahead and move you on to Bachelor number 4 here. Is that all right?
All right. Yeah. No. Listen. All right. I'm trying to make a decision, and I'd like to get a lot of options.
Well, that's good. I've got a couple more here for you now. Now, this one is actually. This is actually a bachelorette that we're looking at here, Steve.
All right.
Might be a little more your speed.
Uh-huh.
Now, she is big into staying at home with Mama and trying her best to hide her dirty pillows as she studies the scriptures. She's a traditional kind of lady.
Okay.
But don't let her mom's uptight attitude keep her from partying. She ain't about to let all that uptightness make her plug it up.
All right. Now, I feel like you might be talking about Carrie.
That would be correct. That would be
awesome.
Correct.
Yes.
Now,
okay.
I'll put it out there too, though. If this is your date of choice, you better be taking her to some kind of kosher restaurant because she does not get along with the blood of the swine.
She's not a fan of pigs. And you know what I hear? She does not want to go see Grease.
No.
Do you remember in Carrie when John Travolta slaps his girlfriend?
He does that, yeah.
That's real weird.
That's still a cool flick too. I enjoy that. That's what I like to do on the show.
Carrie's great. Yeah.
Well, let me go ahead and put this out here for our final bachelor of the evening here, Steve. Now, this guy right here, you know, he really likes to party. He is a party animal, but while he's not out raging, he enjoys time at home.
Okay.
Restoring mannequins.
Oh, all right.
Perhaps even nailing a scalp from a severed head onto one, or handcuffing himself to one in bed.
Now tell me, just real quick, does he look like Ron Jeremy fucked Edward James Olmos?
You know what? Don't let his scarred exterior fool you. He's got a heart of gold.
Yeah, okay, and we're talking about our titular maniac.
That is correct. Frank Zito from 1980's Maniac, the subject of today's
good
podcast,
old Frank Zito,
who I consider I really do genuinely think to be the most disgusting and warped character of any movie that I've ever seen of all time.
I'm gonna pick Sissy Spacek. It's a tough choice, but honestly, I can't get past the not being into guys thing.
Yeah.
And also the guys you named, they're just not my type.
They sound a little bit on the crazy side of things, I guess.
Yeah. If you had named David Duchovny or something, then maybe we'd be talking.
Now, Donnie Kohler from Don't Go in the House, though, man, he loves to disco dance. He likes to have a good time.
He does. Yeah, that's actually there are interesting elements of Don't Go in the House and Maniac that, like, the parallels are uncanny at points.
Yeah, definitely so, man. Definitely so.
So, yeah, it seems to me it had to be some form of parallel thinking. I mean, there's no way that, I don't know, Don't Go in the House wasn't a huge flick. It wasn't even early enough in 1980 for them to have seen it and then tried to reflect it in Maniac.
Right.
So, yeah, it's really interesting.
So Maniac came out in 1980, and I find it really fascinating that I rarely ever meet people who have seen this movie, or maybe have even heard of it. And it's like, if a lot of people have heard of it, it's because of the remake that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, the Elijah Wood, and
the remake is good and all, but I think it's really strange, again, to kind of go back to what we were talking about a second ago. I think it's strange to see that Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, gets as much praise as it does, when I frankly think that everything it does, Maniac does 100 times better and more fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I had just watched Henry right before watching this, and I think Henry the interesting thing is that Maniac presents us with an semi-accurate rendition of the depravity of a serial killer.
Yeah.
Henry introduces us into a world that we then have afterward. I think Henry gets a lot of praise because Henry introduces us into the world that we now have, where you could go online and see a murder. Like, if you want to, you could look one up. And that's kind of what's happening in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, they have a VHS camera and they're filming their murders.
Right.
So I think maybe Henry gets a lot of praise because it foresees the future. But I think Maniac illustrates the depravity of the mind of a serial killer better.
Well, and the thing is, too, that's so unique about it, man, is there's so many movies where we have, these amazing, amazing villains and killers and stuff, like some of the ones we named off just a second ago on our quiz there. But you're not there for the moments after they kill somebody. You're not there to see it. Like, in a lot of these flicks, the killer will murder somebody and then the scene changes, or it goes to black and it's the next day or whatever. Yeah. But an interesting thing about Maniac is it really explores the home life of one of these people and what their reaction is right after they murder somebody, man. Like, one of the first kill scenes in the movie is when he goes and he hires that prostitute, solely just to kill her, and at least I guess it turns into that anyway.
I don't know, because there's a lot going on here with the character and the conversations he has with himself in his apartment.
Yeah,
but he's actually talking to the corpse he just killed, but when talking to the corpse he just killed, he's talking to the spirit of his mother that he believes lives in the person that he just killed.
Right, exactly. And it's like, it's not like there's narrative explaining that or anything like that. You, as the viewer, are just put into the situation. Yeah, exactly. Where he's there in his disgusting, just vomit hole apartment, talking to this mannequin and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. You just have to figure it out for yourself. You're just like, what the fuck is going on here? Man, that first scene where he kills that prostitute in the hotel room is just disgusting. And it's maybe like 10 or 15 minutes into the movie. He hires a prostitute. He goes up to a room, and like he tells her like, dance like a model for me. And then she starts to take her clothes off, and he's like, leave your clothes on. And he looks, dude, Joe Spinell that plays Frank Zito, the Maniac in this movie, is just by unfortunate nature absolutely fucking disgusting and creepy looking. Just creepy as all fuck, man.
He can look not creepy. I mean, if you've seen him in Godfather 2, or Rocky 2, he plays gross characters, and he plays a gross character in this. So he comes off as automatically creepy, but you can find photos of him where he just looks like just regular old dude. So that means he's doing something. Right. He's putting something into it. He's deciding his faces. I don't know if he was deciding to be covered in sweat in these scenes, or if he was covered in sweat because it was hot, or if he was covered in sweat because he was on drugs, because he was on drugs during this time.
Right. He was a raging druggie and alcoholic. And just to kind of finish my thought about that kind of aftermath that I was saying, it's like after he kills that prostitute, he goes into the bathroom and immediately throws up in the sink and is crying. And man, he comes out of that room, and I don't know, man. It's like we're used to seeing these killers just be stone cold sociopath, cold blooded and shit. But he comes out of that bathroom and he's crying and he's upset and he's shaking and he's shaking his head. And he's like, "Why did you make me do that? I didn't want to." But at the same time, he's saying that he's getting out the razor to fucking cut her scalp off. Like,
he feels like he has to. He has to preserve them. That's a big thing for him. We get that later when he's talking to, I guess, the character who plays our main female protagonist, Caroline Monroe. Character's name is Anna. He's talking to her. She's an artist, and he's talking to her about art, and he's talking about how you, as an artist, you preserve someone. Like, you catch them in a moment and you own them and they're yours. And that's what he is trying to do with these girls, is catch them in a moment and own them.
Right. Yeah. It's like, to him, he doesn't even see it as he's murdering somebody. He's keeping
he's preserving them. Yeah. He's helping them in some way, but he also doesn't want to do it. Like, he's so conflicted and so strange. And the fact that he's an artist is very interesting too. Like, he is an artist. He, in his apartment, like, I would imagine if he were a real serial killer, like, after he got caught, he would have a lot of followers.
Right, yeah. Like a Charles Manson type, very charismatic.
Very charismatic, very strange. Like, he's interesting because we get shown him as the weirdo he is first.
Yeah.
And then later we see him just being normal with people.
I've wondered, especially after watching it this time, if he has, just kind of subtly written in, if he has like a multiple personality kind of thing going on, because there's clearly him, in his home where he's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
And then there's him while he is, hanging out with Anna and stuff, where he's very normal and very charismatic.
Yeah.
And then several times even through the movie, we see I don't know, I just think of it as the Hollywood, makeup artist character, where he's in his home fucking nailing scalps onto a mannequin while he's wearing like a blue velvet robe and sunglasses, talking about this just isn't gonna do, yada yada yada. Like, the way he's speaking is completely different than all the other times.
He's playing a character at that point. He's wearing an ascot, and he's talking in a slightly different voice, and it's like he's doing like a hairstylist character. And what he's talking about is the fact that this blonde hair, it has a bunch of blood in it.
Ugh.
Joe Spinell is amazing in this. Like,
he's unbelievable, and it's especially amazing too whenever you factor in that, from all accounts, from everything that you'll ever read about the guy or see in interviews with people that knew him, he was one of like the best dudes in the fucking world. He was extremely nice, extremely charismatic. He was fucking Sylvester Stallone's
son, Sage.
Yeah.
Yeah, his son Sage's godfather, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And was just, by all accounts, an A1 wonderful guy. But then he tapped into something absolutely disgusting and strange. I would really like to know more about what he researched to get into this role.
I think he researched injecting cocaine.
Yeah, well, that's apparently the story too, is that he was a raging partier.
Yeah, I think a lot of his research and director William Lustig's research was like having seen these exploitation films and things that were made by, people. Roger Corman was a big creator of exploitation films, and also having been a part of the disco scene and part of, friends with pornographic actresses in the 70s in this, porn is semi-cleaned up. There are certainly areas of porn where there are actors who are having a good time and they're not addicted to drugs and they really want to be doing what they're doing. Sure. But in the 70s especially, and even still today, drugs are a large portion of it, and people caught in a corner who need the drugs to not feel like they're gonna die get talked into doing some really fucked up shit. The 70s, that's how porn came out of the 70s.
Right.
So they were part of this world. William Lustig, before directing this, directed porn. He directed 2 porn movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
well, that makes sense, because a lot of the females in this movie,
they're from porn.
Yeah, like a lot of the kills and the models in the modeling scene and stuff like that are just porn stars.
Yeah, and Joe Spinell was married to a porn star for 4 years in the 70s. They got divorced a year before this came out. So around the time he was writing it, I would imagine.
It's really interesting for me, too, to see that, again, with all accounts of Joe Spinell being such a nice, wonderful guy, he wrote this movie. Like, he wrote this movie for himself to star in and just be revolting.
Yeah, I don't think that says much, honestly. I learned this long ago from being a fan of metal growing up and then meeting a lot of metal musicians.
Yeah.
People who write about demented shit aren't the people you need to worry about.
That's a really good, you know what? I can't argue that in the least. All my years of playing heavy music and stuff, I have met some of the nicest people in the world are guys that play the most brutal, hellacious music.
Yeah, the thing is that when you have grown up a particular way or been forced into particular situations, when your life has created darkness within you, there are a few ways to go about it. One of them is to try to grin and bear it and just live whatever you think a normal life is. Another is to go out and kill people because of it, and another is to release that darkness. And I don't know, it becomes a sort of a group therapy situation.
Right, you're creating something out of it.
Yeah, and everybody else is like, yeah, I get it. No, we're not gonna go kill anybody, but I understand, I get your feeling, I get what you're saying, I feel that feeling too. Let's rage together and then just be cool dudes.
So what you're saying is probably Kirk Cameron is way more fucked up than a Joe Spinell was.
I'm not saying probably. I'm saying Kirk Cameron's more fucked up than Joe Spinell.
Yeah.
Because Kirk Cameron believes in women being subjugated to men. What's the difference between this character and Kirk Cameron?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Kirk Cameron. I hope he's listening.
Yeah.
I know he is. Kirk, stop doing coke. Buddy, stop doing coke. The hooker's not gonna undie.
Now, one of the things to me about this movie that really stands out to me that is just something that, not only do you not see it in movies anymore, but you can't see it in movies anymore, is just how fucking disgusting and grubby city life was there in the 70s into the early 80s and
New York City is real grubby in the 70s and 80s, yeah. It's real gross. Like, I love Lillian Kaustuper from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah.
Her entire aesthetic is established around the 70s and 80s New York, like that grimy disgustingness.
There is not one surface of any room, of any floor, of any surface in this movie that I would ever consider like touching and then not washing my hands immediately.
You know what? I don't know why. I think it has to do with the fact that there was a certain aesthetic of like browns and greens and oranges in the 70s. But I associate the 70s with fungus.
Just everything's going to be kind of moldy there.
Yeah, I feel like the 70s smell like a moldy cigarette.
Yeah.
Like, just disgusting. And so, 1980, no different. I mean, honestly. I wasn't even in the world, so nothing was improving yet.
Yeah, well, very true. It took a big change after you came in, man. Came in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah, like Miley. Turkey butt.
Especially the scenes like where he's chasing that chick down in the subway, and then she hides like in that bathroom.
Oh,
it looks
it's so gross,
dude. It looks like there are heroin needles littering every surface of everywhere down there. It's just fucking gross, and you got to think it's like. That's not a movie set. That is just how
it's just a subway.
They just filmed
it's a
it
subway
that way.
bathroom. Yeah,
exactly.
Most of this is guerrilla filmmaking. They were just showing up at places and shooting.
Exactly.
They didn't have permits.
Yeah, literally showing up and shooting, which, the incredible Tom Savini, who in this movie appears as Disco Boy, handled the special effects of this movie. Tom Savini, you guys know from basically every movie, every
Dawn
horror
of the
movie
Dead,
ever.
Day of the Dead, Friday the 13th, Prowler. He's so important. I feel like we may mention him in almost every episode.
I think so,
and I'm fine with that.
Totally so, because seriously, without him and his students, we would not have horror. I mean, horror is inseparable from gore, and without Tom Savini, we do not get that stuff. So. As you said a second ago, they were literally shooting on scene, guerrilla style. Yeah. In the scene where the Maniac stalks out Tom Savini as Disco Boy and his girlfriend, who was his real-life girlfriend at the time, in a car there underneath a bridge there by the bay, the Maniac jumps on the hood of the car, which is actually kind of interesting because the shot... that Frank Zito, he shoots a double-barrel shotgun into the car and blows Tom Savini's head off. That's actually Tom Savini blowing a Tom Savini dummy away.
Yeah, I read that. And then he threw the gun to a friend of Joe Spinell, who was in the back of a truck, and they sped away with the gun. Yeah. So if the cops showed up, they wouldn't have a gun.
Yeah, because at that time, you were not allowed to fire a gun in New York City. You were not allowed to. If you were caught firing a gun, you would get 5 years in fucking prison. So, in order to make what you see on screen, they literally risked jail time. These guys were willing to put their fucking asses in jail in order to make this happen. And it's crazy, too, because, Tom Savini had that plaster head cast of himself, which he said they filled with all kinds of stuff from the catering table. They filled it up with
lunch. Just a bunch of stuff from lunch and fake blood.
Yeah, and meat and all kinds of stuff. He jumped on the hood of the car, blew his own head off, and then they immediately dragged the car into a garage where it sat for about 2 weeks. And then they realized that they needed to get the interior shots of his girlfriend and the blood getting splashed on her from the headshot. And it was so vile and disgusting from all the rotten food and stuff. They couldn't even use it. So what they did is they pushed that car into the Hudson River. And so somewhere at the bottom of the Hudson River, there is that car with a hole in the windshield and this exploded mannequin head of Tom Savini sunk at the bottom of the fucking Hudson River somewhere, which I think is so badass, man. And as a side note, too, I will say that is one of the best headshots of any movie I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, it's amazing. Tom Savini is so good. He's so good. And it's a real, like, it says a lot about a horror movie when Maniac, which was shot without any sort of approval, any sort of insurance, any sort of, and I don't support those things. I think, go with the law and provide insurance for everybody on the fucking set, etc. But when this was shot and that shot looks so amazing, and then you think of the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why are they even trying to make movies anymore if they can't throw together? This is cheap. It's cheap to throw together.
Yeah, if you can't at least match that.
Yeah, it looks better, and you're gonna spend $50,000 on shit? Why?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I agree. There's so many examples of that, of people doing these incredible visual effects and stuff and just making something that really makes a statement on no budget. And then you get these guys with a fucking unlimited, millions on millions and millions of dollars budget, and they just make fucking bullshit. It's terrible.
Yeah.
The kills in the movie are, I think, absolutely just unflinching and grimy. Like, that is the word for me about this movie, is fucking grimy. All the scenes where he's like scalping these women and cutting their hair off of them.
Yeah. I think the first kill is the cold open kill is a couple on the beach.
Yeah.
And that one's not the most amazing. It's kind of mild in comparison to the rest. The kill, the prostitute, first off, he picks up a prostitute outside of a hotel, and the person at the desk is, I didn't know this, but I wrote in my notes, just as disgusting looking as Joe Spinell. Turns out it's director William Lustig. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So he takes her up to the room. They start, having, I don't know how that conversation goes. I don't ever want to find out. But the prostitute John conversation, and he kills her by strangling her, but it's not like an old-fashioned movie strangle where, like, he strangles her for a couple seconds and she's dead.
Oh, it goes and goes.
It goes and goes and goes. And I'm pretty sure there's a deleted scene in Natural Born Killers, where Tom Sizemore kills a prostitute, and I'm pretty sure it's very much influenced by this.
Well, and even in those shots, too, you get those shots that are from her perspective, of her looking up at him, and you just see his strained, sweaty, clenched jaw.
Gross, just, ugh.
It's fucking disgusting, man.
Yeah, I can't disagree. There's a really great scene, I'm not sure if you've ever seen the series The Fall with Gillian Anderson. I highly recommend it. I know I always highly recommend things, but I'm gonna go ahead and highly recommend this. Gillian Anderson plays a detective in Ireland trying to solve a series of murders that are similar to this. Like, there are even mannequin parts involved. Like,
wow.
Yeah, so this has influenced pop culture even today. In The Fall, there's a really powerful scene where she's talking about how long it takes to actually strangle someone to death. And as she's talking about it, she's squeezing her wrist, and she keeps talking, and then she stops, and she's like she says something like 1.5 minutes. Like, that's how long I could do that. It takes 3 minutes to strangle someone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like it becomes even more real when you realize, like, how long it takes. And in fact, the killer that in American Horror Story, they actually deal with this killer who killed nurses in Chicago in the 70s. Can't remember his name. I wish I could. But he said that about killing. He said that the thing that you don't realize is how long it takes. So they had these things in mind. Like, other killers had said stuff that gave them the idea to think about, like, well, the strangling scene needs to be over long. It needs to seem longer than any strangling scene you've seen before.
Right.
And it's so perfect. It works great. I mean, it's disgusting, which is what it should be.
Yeah. Now, after he kills these women, his thing, as we mentioned, is to scalp them and then take their scalps back to his apartment there and nail their scalps onto mannequins. He has like a mannequin fetish, and I guess he feels like by putting these scalps onto them, he is making them real, or like we said, kind of saving these women in these, you know, because a mannequin doesn't age, a mannequin doesn't rot or anything like that. Yeah. So I guess that's his way of making it permanent, is by having this unaging artificial woman with this real woman hair on top of it, which is some crazy fucking serial killer shit that could actually happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should mention that the thing that drives him is that his mother was a prostitute who abused him and made him go into the closet while she had sex with strange men for money.
Right. Yeah. And it basically that kind of drove him to be like, you know, these. And there's a scene in the movie where he has like a big long dialogue. It's almost like with you as the viewer. But it's all in his head.
Yeah, he's talking to us. Yeah, that's one of the main things in this movie that I found, is that he is talking to us. And like it's like a questioning of even watching horror movies. It's questioning how you can do this and how you can watch this, and just telling you, like, this is how depraved I am. This is where this comes from. Why are you still watching this?
Yeah, and he says in his monologue to himself there, he's like, you know, these guys come around with their money and their fancy cars or whatever, but I really love you. I'm the one that loves you. You know, they can't love you like I can, and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and we find out later that he killed his mom. Like, so he killed his mom. That may have been the initiating kill, or it may have been a kill later on. Edmund Kemper, his mother wasn't his first kill, but I guarantee he would like for her to have been his first kill. He killed some co-eds leading up to killing his mother.
Jeez.
And yeah, there are other killers that have done that, where there's this desire to kill their mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they think that Ed Gein might have killed his mother. There's a few people that think he might have. He definitely dug her up, but some people also estimate that he might have killed her because she was a very just
domineering.
Oh man, brutal, domineering woman presence in his life. So they also think he might have killed his brother too. There's a lot of fucked up stuff, man.
Yeah. So this is interesting though, because what this focuses on, like when we talk about these killers with mommy issues, what it focuses on is Freudian psychology.
Sure.
And the idea that, you know, we all males, we want to, you know, kill our father and marry our mother.
Yeah.
But in these situations, the father has been eliminated and the mother acts as the domineering force. And so these boys get so messed up by their mom being a single mom. And so, like, when I break it down to that, it's easy to realize how all of these portrayals are already sexist.
Right.
Like, because the idea is that without a father there, your mother is going to fail at raising you and make you want to kill all women. Yeah,
exactly. And it's like, I grew up raised by women, basically. And
me too. I had a couple of strong males in my life, but mostly women. Just women raising me.
Yeah, same here. All the good male role models I've ever had have come much, much, much later in my life. And in my childhood, it was all women that were the role models for me. And I haven't become a lunatic, so there's that.
So that's 1 out of 2 of us.
Yeah. Good odds.
That's 50%. It's not so bad.
Now, Steve, what do you think of Frank Zito's apartment? Do you like his decorating style? How do you think that somebody...
I actually kind of like some of the stuff. I'm like, okay, like if I saw this as an art installation, I'd be like, oh, all right, this is interesting.
You know, the color of his walls are kind of the color of my kitchen, that like dark purple.
Yeah. That dark purple's a good color. I like it. I think that he is an artist. That's the thing. I think Joe Spinell is like, he's working through some things in this that like he's realizing like I obviously have talent. I'm artistic. I have a lot going on, but I feel like I'm disgusting. I feel bad. I feel like I'm terrible for women and I don't want to ruin other people's lives all the time, but I do. And so he's working through this like amazing, like if we could see this today, like if he was working this out in a podcast, for instance, because I've listened to podcasts where it's obvious that the person hosting the podcast is working out a lot of shit. If he were working this out in a podcast, it would be like riveting.
It would be amazing. Yeah.
And so like to dismiss this movie as like just overly violent towards women and having no real value it would be ridiculous. This is a very valuable movie. There's a lot going on here, and it's very artistic. As I said in my weird rambling text to you, this movie is a poem. Like,
yeah,
to me, like it's poetic and artistic, and there's so much going on with it, but it's also depraved and indifferent and disgusting.
Oh yeah, man. And in his apartment, he's got like a shrine to his mother. He's got a huge photo of her and all these candles around her and stuff. And he's got...
But even the photo of her is like, she looks mad.
Yeah.
Like she's got a cigarette in her mouth. She doesn't look like a nice person.
No, but he still like idolizes her and worships her. And of course, he's got all the mannequins and stuff, which he has all kinds of just fucked up interactions with, man. There's that one scene, he comes home, and I think I texted you when I was watching this the other night, and like he comes home and he uncovers the mannequin and he goes, "Did you miss me?"
Oh god.
It's just fucking disturbing. Dude, and then like the first scene that we get of him, I think it's the first scene of him in his apartment, and he's going to bed and he handcuffs himself to a mannequin. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Like he lays down next to a mannequin with a scalp nailed onto it, and he handcuffs himself to it, and he starts just sort of sobbing. And does he start humping?
I think he's just shaking because he's like crying so hard. Yeah. He does that several times in the movie too. Like after he kills the prostitute, he's just weeping uncontrollably. Which again, it's like, you know, that is the opposite of the stoic, stone cold, cold-blooded serial. It's like this movie really shows you that these people's emotions and their thought processes are just a mess, dude. They are a mess.
Yeah, and it humanizes him in a way, but also because they don't linger on it long, and they do linger on him preparing to go out and kill, and then killing, and everything that happens after he kills. They don't linger long on the crying and sobbing and the actual like background story, so you never get too attached to him.
Yeah. It's fucking weird, man. Now, what do you think? Okay, this is just an area of minor interest for me in the movie. But he's covered in scars. His whole body is covered in scars, and it's never explained where those
think his mother
from.
He got those from his mother, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe not just his mother, also his John's. I mean, this is a sad and depressing fact, but children are killed every week by mothers allowing someone to rape them and kill them. It happens all the time. Right. Go to dreamingdemon.com.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, don't. But I mean, if you want to read about the most depressing shit that you don't hear about in the news, you'll find out that this shit happens a lot, and it's really sad.
Woof.
So he's got these scars. They look like burns and maybe cuts. Prostitution's not a good game. Don't get into it if you can avoid it.
At one point, doesn't he? I might be remembering this wrong. At one point, doesn't he put out a cigarette by like opening the shirt of one of the mannequins and kind of stubbing it out underneath the shirt, like so you can't see it?
Yeah, it's like he's replaying himself being burned as a child.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, the story that runs through this is that he is in a park and a photographer takes his picture, and then he goes and checks out her address and like I guess gets in contact with her, and he's normal with her, normal-ish.
Takes her out to a clams casino.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know, it's interesting, like, she seems like ready to reject him at any moment, and he seems ready to accept being rejected.
He's playing it cool. Yeah, it's like the world doesn't depend on him making it with this chick or whatever. He's like, all right, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's interesting, though, because that's not the Frank Zito we know. Frank Zito we know needs this absolute approval of women, and even if they are approving him, he still feels like they're dirty and they need to die.
Right. And, you know, it's funny, too, because there's all these little warning signs that he drops, too, that us, knowing what we know about Frank, pick up on. Like, he's like, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever met since my mother.
Yeah. He does drop a lot of hints that if you're watching a horror movie, you're like, yeah, that's not good. But in regular conversation, it's like, oh, okay, maybe he really cares about his mother. He seems like, maybe he's just a deep feeling type of guy.
Yeah. Oh, man, dude.
Caroline Munro, who plays Anna, she was in a movie called Star Crash a year before this. She's in 2 movies that are covered on Mystery Science Theater 3000 The Return, one of them being Star Crash.
That's also got Spinell in it, doesn't it?
It does. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
He plays like a weird vampire villain. Yeah, it's so strange. She's great. Like, she's not the greatest actress, but she plays in this role really well. She just seems to play the carefree artist type pretty well. And the problem is her role isn't really big in this. It's just ancillary.
Oh,
Even though,
absolutely.
like, she's, I guess, our final girl, our female protagonist, she's hardly in it.
No, not really at all. And, you know, that makes it so that it is more apparent to us, the viewer, that he cannot relate to other people. You know, if we started relating with her, then we would, you know what I mean, see more of that. But it's like he, as a sociopath, as a non-human, can't connect with other humans. So I'm okay with her not really having a huge role in it.
Yeah, and he uses his relationship with her to then kill one of the models that she's photographing one day. And that kill is supremely disgusting.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's where he's in her apartment. She's like taking a bath and stuff, right?
Yeah, he shows up at her apartment. He stole a necklace from a photography shoot that day, and he pretends like he found it and is bringing it to her.
Yeah.
And while he's talking to her, he like switches off the lock on her door or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then while she goes to take a bath, he sneaks in, and the kill, like, we learn a lot about him as he's killing her. He like gags her and binds her, and he's talking a lot to her.
Yeah.
Like she's his mother.
Yeah, he starts talking to her. Yeah, exactly. Just like she was his mom. She does a great job acting in that part, too, because, like, her facial reactions and stuff, even though she's gagged and all this stuff, she's not, you know, verbally acting. Her physical acting is just like, what the fuck is going on? This guy is out of his fucking mind.
There are a lot of scenes like that, and these aren't, like, a lot of these actresses are porn stars. Like, Do you think a lot of it was that they didn't know what was gonna happen?
I have no idea. I would like to know just if they knew how fucked up what they were, in was gonna be.
Well, and also like for if you were a porn actress in the 70s, you did have to worry maybe that you would show up to a shoot and it would go bad.
Yeah,
like, not just
safe.
Bad in the sense of it would be something you didn't want, but bad in the sense of like it might get violent.
Yeah, somebody might hurt you or kill you or something.
Yeah, so like having porn stars in this movie actually ends up working out
Might have brought some credibility
because,
to it.
Yeah, like the terror they're showing may be somewhat legitimate. And when he kills her, this is one of the grossest kills I've ever seen, and it's so simply gross. He slowly stabs her.
Oh yeah.
Like, just imagine that feeling of having a knife pressed against you, slowly going into you.
Ugh.
Oh my God. Like, ugh.
It is brutal.
And then he lays on top of her with the knife still in her, and I get, like, I thought he was humping her, but I think you're right. He just starts like sobbing, and it's like he's fucking her. Like,
yeah.
It's like by laying on top of her with the knife in her and like sobbing, it's like going into her deeper, and it's like this weirdly psychosexual, ridiculous sort of scene.
Yeah, no, I think that you're definitely right there too, man. And basically, he wins that photographer's affections and stuff somewhat. And she kind of, he takes her out to his mom's grave, which is something that you do sometimes.
Yeah, after the funeral of the girl he killed, he takes her to his mom's grave. And they're kneeled by the grave, and he's praying, like, the Lord's Prayer super fast. And he starts crying, and she sort of tries to comfort him, but then, like, he turns violent. And there's a short chase scene, but she pretty much just gets away.
Yeah, she, like, hits him really hard in the arm with a shovel. It's a pretty brutal hit.
Yeah, and he goes back to his mom's grave and hallucinates her grabbing him from beyond the grave.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool too. And again, it's obviously straight out of Carrie. But it shows you that the things that he's seeing aren't necessarily reliable. He is out of his mind and seeing and hallucinating things, and that's something too that. And I'll talk about this a little bit more after we kind of cover this movie, but they cover that in the remake. A lot more heavily. Yeah, that he's hallucinating and seeing things and all that. They do that a lot more in the remake. But that's kind of a minor element here that also kind of makes the ending of the film pretty whacked out too.
Yeah.
Because pretty much right after that, he goes back to his apartment and he's really super upset about losing her and stuff. And then all the mannequins with the scalps of these women that he's killed, from our perspective, come alive and pick up their murder weapons and kill him with them. And dude, the kill is so fucking out of control brutal. He's laying on the bed and they're tearing him apart, and they slowly rip his head off, and like the expression on the face of the fake head is like grotesque and just disgusting. There's gore and blood just fucking everywhere. It's nuts. But then, it makes you realize, that wasn't real, actually.
Yeah, that didn't happen at all. And the cops show up because, of course, Anna goes and calls the cops. The cops show up at his apartment, and they find him, they believe, dead, because they see a blade sticking out of his gut.
His head is still squarely on, so we know that what we saw was not real.
Yeah, what we saw wasn't real, so we have to assume that he committed suicide by stabbing himself in the gut. But then the cops, without checking his pulse or anything, they're like, hey, he's dead. And they walk out, and then dun dun dun, his eyes open.
Yeah.
Which was supposed to set up Maniac 2, which Joe Spinell wrote and was trying to get made.
Really?
Yeah, before he died.
Whoa, I didn't know that. I would love to fucking read that script and see what that's about.
Yeah, me too. I would love to know what he foresaw for the Maniac in a sequel.
Now, one of the things about this movie that I think makes it even creepier in a lot of ways too is the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack to this flick is fucking rad, man. And a lot of it, there's not really a lot of music other than some of the silly stuff, man, like that "Going to the Showdown," that song that's at the that's the best.
Yeah.
I've actually listened to that several times because it puts me in a good mood.
Going to the showdown.
Yeah. So there's not really a lot of songs. There's a lot of just like long synth pads and just a lot of really long like keyboard synthesizer notes. But there's other weird stuff too, like especially there at the first of the movie. After he kills a couple on the beach and we're in his apartment, there's like this really soft flute music.
Yeah.
That's like so like it sounds like music that would be in like a fantasy movie or something. And there's a bunch of really weird angular like fretless bass on the soundtrack too. It sounds like do you know the bass player Jaco Pastorius?
Yeah.
You know, he played bass for Weather Report and a lot of other bands and was widely regarded as one of the greatest bass players, but greatest musicians of all time.
Well, he's not Geddy Lee, so.
Well, there you go. And he was also like a raging lunatic too. He was manic depressive, bipolar, had a lot of problems and stuff. And a lot of the music, which, you know, he was alive during this time period of this movie, a lot of the music sounds like what Jaco would have played at the lowest of his lows. Is just what it makes me think of personally, because it's a lot of this fretless bass stuff like what Jaco played, only it's really scattered and really strange and unorganized and unsettling sounding, man. I think the soundtrack is fucking awesome.
The composer Jay Chataway, I had looked him up, and what really impressed me was that he went on to do music for Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. I'm a Trekker. I like to watch the Star Trek. I do not think that one should choose between Star Trek and Star Wars, because they're completely different things, and it's ridiculous to put them in competition. But if you listen to the music on Star Trek The Next Generation, I mean, it's amazing. Like the scope and the feel of it is amazing, and it doesn't resemble Maniac, but it proves that Jay Chataway is someone who knows how to use music to create an ambiance.
That is for fucking sure.
Yeah, and he does that in this movie amazingly.
Wow. Now, let me ask you another thing, Steve. A lot of the criticism I see about this movie are about the somewhat questionable acting in several parts of the film. How do you feel about the quality of the acting in this movie?
I'm fine with it. Like, what? I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes when people think of acting, they're people who forget that people act.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't know someone who in your own life is obviously acting, you don't know enough people.
Yeah.
Like, so when I see someone, a prostitute, for instance, who's obviously acting, it's like, yeah, she's a prostitute. Like, do you think this is what she wants to do with her life? No, she's pretending.
And she's going, yeah, you're really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like, whatever, you know, it's not, so yeah, the acting's not amazing, but also, I don't know, I can't imagine if the actresses were good that they would let the kill scenes be the way they were.
It's interesting, too, to me, man, because obviously Joe Spinell absolutely fucking steals the show. His performance is...
Yeah, he's great.
Dude, I think it is just about the most believable and terrifying psychopath in any movie ever. I can't think of any singular character in a movie that makes me feel as grossed out as that guy. Like, you could put me in an elevator with Norman Bates any day of the week. You could put me in an elevator with fucking, you know, Francis Dollarhide or Hannibal Lecter, whoever. But dude, if you had to ride like a 10-story elevator with fucking Frank Zito, you would be sweating fucking bullets.
Then I thought we might avoid politics, but I feel like we're all riding a 10-story elevator with Frank Zito, with our current president. And that's all I'll say about that. Also, Mike Pence.
Also, Mike Pence.
Mm-hmm. Calls his wife mother. So.
Ew. Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, he calls his wife mother. Oh shit! When I texted you earlier that we should include Mike Pence in the weird mom obsessed killer thing, you didn't know that. Okay.
No.
Calls his wife mother. If you call your wife mother, first off, you're a bad person.
That's
I'm
disgusting.
just gonna go ahead and put that out there. Anyway.
Ugh. God, I kind of wish I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, we all do. But it's the world we live in. So, let's get back to the happier, shinier world of Maniac.
Yeah, exactly. Where everything is understandable and clean and pretty. You know, the biggest impression that I can tell you about Maniac and how it feels to me is it reminds me if you took, you know, some guy that they just pulled off of death row because they found, you know, fucking 40 bodies in his crawl space, and he was a depraved homicidal lunatic. It reminds me of if you gave that guy a budget and a film camera and said, make the movie that you'd want to see, tell us your story, it would be like this movie, because so much of this movie, you know, we have these scenes with Frank Zito where he's alone and he's kind of, you know, giving us his sob story, basically, trying to make us feel bad for him and his situation, and seeing that he has to do these things. These women are making him do this. His mother's making him do this. He doesn't want to, but he has to. And trying to make us, the viewer, feel sympathetic for him. And then all the other people in the movie that aren't acting like real people at all. I feel like a lunatic would watch that and be like, yeah, that's how people act. That's how they are, right? Isn't that how people act?
Yeah, he sees them as mannequins. Like,
exactly.
We're seeing this world through his view.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're going to act like mannequins. They're going to act wooden and stilted and be, you know, overly obvious as actors. And that's how he sees the world, is that everyone's acting. Yeah.
Well, and to him, too, it's like, he might not even see a distinction between a human and a mannequin. To him, like, a mannequin probably has just as many feelings and emotions as a human does, because as far as he's concerned, a human is just an object, a body, you know?
Yeah.
So I think the way that the rest of the cast is actually kind of subpar, it actually, to me, makes the movie seem even more ludicrously insane. I feel like if it was more believable, it would reveal to me that a normal human made this movie. But I think the fact that it's so unbelievable and weird and strange and unhuman-like, I just watch it and I just go, you know, what kind of frame of mind does somebody have to be in to make this, dude?
Cocaine. It's a hell of a drug.
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, though? Like, it just feels like a lunatic made this movie.
That's exactly what it feels like, yes. It feels like someone who would commit these crimes making a movie to try to explain why.
Yeah.
And that they would watch this and be like, oh, well, obviously I conveyed why I would do this, and people seeing this will feel for me.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it too. Absolutely so. And you know, the thing about this movie that I find is really interesting, and what I think is part of why it seems so depraved and just senseless, is like, there is no antagonist in this movie. There is no hero in this movie. There is no...
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if a lot of other people would have made this movie, there would have been the side story of this detective trying to solve the case and crack the code of who's... There's not. There's nobody trying to stop him this whole fucking movie. And there's no moral to be learned. You know, there's
not.
It's not a morality tale. No, whatsoever. There is no... Well, like, even like if you watch Don't Go in the House, right? Like, Don't Go in the House is very clearly a movie about the cycle of child abuse and how abuse and violence begets violence and so on. That's a crazy movie, but I feel like there is some morality there. Maniac, I don't feel like there is anything to learn from it other than this is how fucked up some people are.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue against that. I mean, it's there is an element of senselessness.
Yeah.
And an element of like just nihilism about the world, that like bad shit can happen to you, and further bad shit will happen to other people, and bad shit will keep happening, and you can't fucking stop it.
Yeah, and ultimately nobody does stop him. It's like his own world caving in.
Yeah.
And him, we assume, stabbing himself is what does him in the end. Like, there's not even any kind of cop that, you know, rides in on a white horse and saves the day. Nothing.
Yeah, and that's much more true to life. I mean, we see so much in film of cops saving the day and TV of cops saving the day, and it's very rare that cops save any sort of day.
Yeah.
Seems more often that they ruin days.
Could happen.
So I think this has a realness to it. Mm-hmm. It reflects a reality that needs to be understood. It still needs to be understood. It's still neglected. We still don't try to understand our underbelly. We still don't try to lift people out of that. We still look at poverty and sex work and things like that as sins. Mm-hmm. And we don't see them as like extensions of the policies we make and the economy we've established. Mm-hmm. So like, we don't want to see this. We don't want to believe this can be true. And even after that, if we do see this and do believe this, we want to believe it's an isolated incident, and we want to believe that it's not a part of a deeper network of depravity and disgustingness. And this movie shows us that there's prostitutes, there's a disgusting city, everything is gross. Everybody has something going on that is some sort of sin or something.
There's actions that go by without consequence.
Yeah, actions without consequence. The most you hear is just a little bit on the news, and the news is more interested in it continuing than it ending. So,
right. Yeah, as a ratings kind of grab more than anything.
Yeah. So this movie shows. And that's how I feel when I watch it, is just how gross we can be as people. It's not a movie you're gonna rush off to see in the theater. I mean, like, it's not a movie that people are probably clamoring for a re-release or anything, but it's an important movie, I think.
I think so too, man. What's your overall rating and likes and dislikes of this flick?
I don't have a ton of dislikes.
Yeah.
The ending is a little wishy-washy to me, because, I guess you want to set up a sequel because you want to make another movie, but at the same time, like, couldn't you have just shown him like that and then start your second movie with him opening his eyes?
I think it's a more depraved story with it being self-contained. I'm actually really glad they didn't make that sequel, because to me it just makes the whole thing that much more senseless.
Yeah. I think there are elements of the storytelling that work extremely well without going into deep exposition, but I would have liked maybe... You know what? No, I think I'm good with it. I like the way they revealed stuff through his conversation with Anna, and then his conversation with the model that he kills. His rant at the model he kills.
Kind of a one-sided conversation, really.
So they did really good revealing things as they went. I don't know. It's hard to judge like, if you judge this on regular movie standards, then it's got some problems. But if you look at it, because it really does work as a self-contained work of art that has a lot to say, that maybe doesn't fit into traditional horror genre stereotypes or into traditional serial killer movie stereotypes. Like it's its own thing, and it's very frightening, and it really makes you feel gross. But at the same time, it's not a fun watch.
Yeah, no.
It's not fun to watch. So I think it comes in at around 7.5 to 8.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable, man, cuz I'm with you. There's so much about this movie that I think is phenomenal. Again, just that capturing that era of how dirty and grimy and disgusting city life was. How just empty and faceless it all is. That again, the way that we just have this totally bizarre psychopathic movie style that is just unrelatable and can't really compare it to anything else, and how, you know, the killer is our main character. There is nobody fighting to stop him. I think that's all really fucking rad. I don't think I've ever seen a truer look at what it must be like to be a maniac than this movie. Just that level of depravity and grime that you feel when you watch this, I think is unmatched, personally. Special effects by Tom Savini, absolutely fucking awesome. Amazing kill scenes. Yeah. I can't really think of anything in this movie where a special effect was bad or really like took me out of it, you know? Again, that headshot, man, is so fucking badass. Whenever his head explodes, it goes in like slow-mo, and the gunshot is like reverberating in slow-mo too, and it shows you probably a solid like 10 seconds of head exploding. It just keeps going and going and going, and his girlfriend gets splashed with the blood. So fucking gross and rad, man. I really like that a lot.
Does Greta Gerwig getting shot in House of the Devil kind of remind you of this?
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. Man, I think that's even more out of nowhere, though.
Yeah, it is more out of nowhere, and they spend less time on it. But
that's one of my favorites,
It reminded me of this scene.
Yeah, absolutely so, man. Prowler also has a great headshot in it.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So special effects, really badass. Soundtrack, like I said, weird, sets the mood perfectly. I could not think of a better soundtrack for this movie. As far as dislikes, like, I do think that the ending with him opening up his eyes is a little tropey. You know, it's just a little bit like, unnecessary little twist at the end.
Yeah, and this was before widespread sequel mania had hit horror, too. So, like, you know, just chill, like, relax. Maybe you'll get to make a 2.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was a little unnecessary, but I don't hate it. I think that this movie is absolutely incredible and unique, and you really can't compare it to anything, because, like I said, a movie like Henry is way more popular than this, but I think it's way less effective. Even a movie like Natural Born Killers, I guess, is kind of similar in a way, in that it is just senseless violence and you follow these killers around, but it doesn't make me feel like I need to take a fucking shower. Like, after this movie, I feel like I just need to take a shower.
Yeah.
It's not fun to watch. Like, I want to say that this movie is like a 10 out of 10 because it makes me feel ways that no movie does. But it doesn't make me happy at all to watch. It was one of those, I kind of had to like sort of muster up the will to watch it again for the show.
Yeah, that was tough for me, honestly. And actually, I'm glad I did watch it a second time, because watching it a second time, it had less power, and I was able to see it more as a film. But yeah, that first time you watch it, it's just gross.
I think the second time around, it might have actually fucking fucked me up worse. Because like...
It got grosser, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, because in my head, I was like, surely I've just hyped this up as being more depraved than it really is. Like, I was thinking I had really overhyped it for myself, and I watched it and I was like, nope, might even be worse than I thought it was. Because you just start noticing all this psychotic ass shit in the movie, man.
Yeah.
So I can't say that it's like I can't say that it's a 10 for me, because I don't want to watch it again anytime soon. I want to watch it with people, just to be like, hey, have you ever seen the craziest fucking movie ever made? Check this out.
You guys want to watch a quick romantic comedy with me?
Oh, yeah.
It's called Maniac. He's a maniac for love.
Well, like, I really want to watch this with like my wife, and I want to watch it with my buddy Mitch. Because we always used to like watching movies that were just about lunatics, like Red Dragon. Like we all used to watch Red Dragon, and then then Silence of the Lambs, and yeah, exactly. And like quote it and joke around about it and stuff, because it was like, whoa, this movie's crazy, but it's like, no, this movie's actually really, really fucking crazy.
Yeah, this is sincere.
I would have to rate it like an 8.5 out of 10, maybe even a 9 out of 10, just because the achievement is so colossal, but not fun to watch. Now, Steve, before we go, let me ask you, have you seen the Maniac remake that stars Elijah Wood that came out a couple of years ago?
Well, this is actually interesting because I was told by a friend of a friend to watch Maniac. We were just talking about horror movies at a party once, and I watched the remake. I started watching it, and I got maybe 20 to 30 minutes in before I decided it was just too disgusting, and I turned it off. But now, having seen the original, I feel like it was pretty tame.
Yeah. Okay, here's the funny thing, man, is like I actually watched the remake before I saw the original.
Okay.
Because it was the only one that I could find streaming online. I'm trying to remember what it was on. I want to say it was on Netflix for a while.
Yeah, it was. It was on for a while. I think it's on Hulu now.
I think you're right, yeah. So it was the only one that I could find. I couldn't find the original. I was like, well, I've heard that it's pretty accurate to the original, so I'll just go ahead and watch this. It'll probably be close enough to get me in the ballpark of having an idea of what this is. And I watched it, and, I had heard from a lot of people that it was just unbelievably fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was okay. I need to watch it again, really. I think after having seen the original a couple times, it might change the way that I feel about the remake. It has some great gore in it. It has some great kill scenes. Elijah Wood in it is creepy, but he is not even... Dude, even in the same ballpark as fucking Joe Spinell.
Oh, no. I was actually just disgusted by it because it, to me, only seemed like it was about violence towards women.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That might even be true still of the remake, because this movie is the original is not just about violence towards women, but it seemed to me that Maniac, the remake, was just about violence towards women, and I was just like, I don't need this. Like,
yeah,
I've seen violence towards women. I don't need to see it portrayed just for the fun of it. That's ridiculous.
Well, and hell, really, if you think about it, in the original, he kills 2 guys. It's not just women.
Yeah. Yeah, in the original, he's a killer. Like, he focuses on women, but he kills whoever is around.
The remake had some cool stuff in it. There was one scene in there where, like, Elijah Wood, he's just killed somebody. He's got blood on his hands, and he's all guilty, and he's, like, washing his hands, and he, like, steel wools his hands.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking disgusting. I thought that was pretty cool. That definitely stuck with me.
Are you saying he's got blood on his hands with no remorse? He's got blood on his dick because he fucked a corpse? That's DMX, everyone. DMX. That was a song that was played in clubs. I heard it played in a club once. What?
He fucked a what?
He fucked a corpse. A corpse.
We used to joke around about that all the time in college for some reason.
Yeah. It's a weird fucking line. I've never gotten it. All right, DMX. I mean, I get it more now because he's gone obviously crazy, but whatever.
Which brings me to my next topic, which is I want to see a Maniac remake starring DMX.
And I would love for it to be all it is just a GoPro strapped to DMX's head on a regular day.
Like that episode of Sunny where it was just like Frank's life for a day.
Yeah, because I guarantee it would involve like a pit bull fight. Yeah, and I bet at the end of the day a woman might be dead.
Likely fucking a corpse.
Yeah, likely fucking a corpse. Yeah.
I would rate that remake probably about like a 5 out of 10. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You be that way.
If we attach the right director to it, it's a 7.5. No problem.
Oh no, the remake. That's a 10 out of 10 without a doubt.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about the remake.
Yeah.
I can't judge it yet. Unfortunate.
Well, Steven, what are we going to be covering on this show next week?
Oh, we'll be talking about it.
Oh, yeah? We're going to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. I actually watched it recently.
Huh. Well, all right.
Have you ever seen it?
I have not seen it.
Who's on first?
Guys, second base. We're going to be watching It. The what I just discovered before we started recording, I started looking up It. 3 hours long? What?
It's a long one, Steve. It's long and strong. It's bound to get the friction on.
Baby got back. So yeah, I'm interested to see this. I feel like it's I think going into it's going to be disappointing, but I want it to not be, because so many people have told me it fucked up their childhood. It's just like when I, as a sophomore in high school, watched Labyrinth and went, what? I didn't get it. I didn't get why anybody would like it ever. I still don't exactly get it, but
dance, magic dance.
Yeah, okay, I get that. We all get that David Bowie is awesome.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Connelly's fun to watch. But that movie, let's talk about it, guys. That movie. Next thing you're gonna tell me is Dark Crystal is good.
Dude,
and guess
Dark
what,
Crystal's
guys?
sick. What?
I watched Dark Crystal from my childhood. I watched it as an adult, and I was like, you know what? This is a bad movie.
No,
this is not a good movie. We might have to cover it sometime.
What about Legend?
Legend's great.
Okay, goddamn. I was gonna really have like some issues and be like, and signing off. This is the last episode ever.
Last episode of Dead and Lovely.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve. I watched it for the first time maybe about a month ago. Kate got it for me on DVD on Blu-ray for my birthday.
Oh, the Blu-ray.
And I went in the same as you, very, very hesitant, really wondering what it was going to be like, expecting to be very disappointed because I didn't see it when I was a kid, which is prime childhood ruining age to see this movie.
Yeah.
I think that it's pretty badass. I look forward to talking over it with you, man.
Awesome.
And I can totally understand it fucking up some little kids' world when they saw it when they were little.
Great.
Kid, man.
I do love Tim Curry, so that's always fun.
Yeah, you will love watching him in this. It's pretty badass. So yeah, next week we'll be talking about It, which I think is also just about in time for the new It remake, correct?
Yeah, it'll be coming out, I think, a couple days after the It episode comes out. So it'll be a quick refresher in case, you want to go into It being like, this couldn't possibly be as good as the first one. Push up glasses with finger.
I hope that the remake is cool. I think the trailer.
I do too. I think the trailer looks good. Yeah,
I think so too, man. I hope they don't fuck up the clown. The clown's the only thing. Pennywise is looking maybe a little questionable, but I hope that I'm wrong about that.
You know what? I always hope I'm wrong about something sucking. You know, I want everything to rule. Like, people who want things to suck? Fuck you. Why? Why? Everything sucks. Please, just the next movie I watch be great. Yeah. Like, I can't go into anything anymore. As I age, I can't go into anything anymore being like, impress me. I'm just like, please, I want you to be great. I'll give you everything to be good.
That might have been like some dialogue from Maniac, I think.
Oh my god, yeah. I bet. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I kind of look like Joe Spinell a little bit.
No, you don't.
No, I'm in the pudge region. Like, in the face region, I look like
an angel, a cherub.
Ryan Gosling and John Hamm had a sexy baby.
Yeah, you got a six-pack on your fucking forehead. You're so fucking hunky.
Yeah, exactly. Rawr. So we'll talk to you guys next week. Ben, I'm gonna switch things up. Where can they find you on the social media?
They can find me wherever the green fern grows, wherever there is a rainbow shining.
Mm-hmm.
And dewdrops flourishing.
Right. Yeah. That's where I look for you first.
You could also find me on Instagram and Twitter at Spinell Guitars. What about you?
You can always find me at Steven Spratling on the Twitter, on the Instagrams. You can also find me on the Facebooks. You can also find the podcast at Dead Lovely Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Mm-hmm. Or you can email us, deadandlovelypod@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook group. You could, I don't know, you can send us dick pics to the Gmail account. I don't know what to do with them. I'll probably post them.
I have a Rolodex of all the dick pics that we receive.
Dick pic Rolodex?
Yeah.
Oh man, wait. Do you do that thing that secretaries used to do, where they'd kind of memorize the exact location?
Yep.
So they knew exactly how to twist to it. So you know, like if somebody's like, I'm a 6-inch wide, you're like, oh yeah, that's John Felton.
Well, I also do it with a little bit of a flourish, somewhat like Ollivander from Harry Potter, where I'm like, yes, I remember this one well.
Pretend like you don't know.
Yeah, Caucasian, smooth, whippy.
Whippy, yeah.
Yeah. Please go on iTunes, rate and review our podcast. Give us, even if it's just a short, this is cool review. That would be great. It helps us show up on the charts and searches a lot more. So please go on iTunes, rate and review, and subscribe.
Casey Kasem's charts recently put us at number 1. So
no way, Casey Kasem?
Yeah, Casey Kasem from the grave.
Zoinks.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode. You guys have been just a bunch of goddamn darlings, and we have been dead and lovely. Goodbye, y'all.
Keep your clothes on.
It had to get weird.